play us out. All right, you got this, Pat. Hey,
Right.
I believe in
Yeah.
you, man. I believe in you.
If you thought Oregon at Michigan State was a trap game for the Ducks before it got scheduled on a Friday, how are we supposed to feel now? We'll do it live with Sting. Maybe. He's Matt Sheehan. I'm Spencer McLaughlin, and this is a crossover of Ducks and Spartans.
You are Locked On College Crossover, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Yes, it is that time once again for a crossover edition of Locked On Ducks. I'm Spencer McLaughlin, and Locked On Michigan State, he is Matt Sheehan. It's part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, the number one sports podcast network out there. Not number 2 or 3, number 1. We thank you all, especially our everydayers, for helping make that the case. Is Oregon going to dominate again? Is this an easy one for the Ducks? Is this an upset statement possibility for the Spartans and their new administration? That will all be discussed on today's show. Matt, I want to start off on a interesting note, shall we say? More interesting than what I hinted at in the cold open, which if you understood, we could be best friends. I'm just throwing it out there in case you're lonely. So, not you. But I look at this game and I say, there's only one way that it could have been rescheduled to a Friday with all the trap game components that it already entails.
Yes.
Matt Sheehan of Locked On Spartans has pulled strings as a puppet master behind the scenes to give his team the best possible chance to win. This is the only explanation, so I'm putting you on the spot. Did you do that?
I did, and I'm also in touch with the head of the weather committee, too, to see if we can get 33-degree driving rain, 20-mile-an-hour winds. It's not like you guys aren't accustomed to that in a sense in the Pacific Northwest, but we're looking for certified Spartan weather on this Friday night, senior night here at Spartan Stadium to hopefully come within 10 points of beating you guys. That's what it's going to...
Yeah.
I'm going to cut to the chase here.
You don't see it?
Not necessarily, Spencer, and there's a few reasons why, hey, maybe you can fall in this trap game scenario because you guys got a little tricky schedule here. It's at Ohio State.
A little?
Michigan, a little bit, and then it's at Michigan State and then home against Washington. Like, that is a certified trap game spot. However, there's a lot of question marks with Michigan State. I'll go ahead and give you the biggest one right now. Depth at a lot of positions. And when this game kicks off on Friday, November 20th, Spencer, are you usually at your best or your worst health at that point of a season? You know college football, I'd imagine. What's your best guess, you think?
My best guess is not ideal, lest we travel back to last November for Oregon, where they entered a game at Iowa without DeCorian Moore. Gary Bryant got hurt a couple minutes in. Evan Stewart had never been there. I don't believe Kenyon Sadiq played in that game. Alex Harkey, the right tackle, didn't play, and I think there was another offensive lineman out, and maybe one other defensive lineman. So, from the Oregon standpoint, I could liken it to that game, except Michigan State is starting a rebuild here. The one I actually compare it to, with the weather potential, is the Wisconsin game last year.
Hey, no, okay. Yeah.
And let me tell you, that's an outcome I imagine, given your vantage point here, Matthew, Spartan fans would be okay with. Final score, 21-7, Oregon won in a windy, torrential downpour at Autzen where it never rains.
No moral wins, but we do have wry smiles on our face if things go a little better against top 25 teams than they have the last 3 years, because I don't have the stat up in front of me, but it's something like whenever we face a top 25 team, the average margin of defeat is nearing 30, if not just straight up 30. It's been tough shakes around here. So, look, what I love to get up here is talk about trap game. If this was a Benjamin Button season, and hey, you know what, this is actually a team that's going to get healthier as the season goes along, or, in a more common rational thinking sense, if this is just the second game of the year instead of second to last game, I could maybe talk myself into perhaps it could get a little dicey for the first half.
Hey,
how fun would that be?
Hey, let me tell you. Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
As things currently stand, my Fridays in the fall are usually the days where I can dial into an Oregon game more than anything else. Saturdays get a little hectic. So if the first half of this game is indeed closer than it is supposed to be, then guess what? I will have a flurry of dopamine rushes from all the tweets I get sent from Oregon fans who will be upset going, what the hell is going on here? We need to figure it out. And then they probably will, because the other game, ironically, Wisconsin, comes to mind here. Back in 2024, Oregon went to Madison against a Badger team that did not make a bowl game. Ducks were a 10.5-point favorite, according to our friends at FanDuel, and they won the game by all of 3 points.
Yeah.
And it was ugly. They didn't score a touchdown until the fourth quarter. The offense couldn't get out of its own way, and that wasn't even bad weather. But East Lansing can get ugly, and I think if you're Michigan State, you're pulling for that, right?
Oh my God,
You get on your hands and knees, putting your hands together, going, Mother Nature, please.
Yeah.
Give me a snowstorm, sleet, hail, rain, all of it, because it's the great equalizer. You can't pull away from a team as easily when you can't throw the football.
Frostbite, hypothermia, like fatalities in the bleachers. But if it means that Michigan State can somewhat keep this close, those are the sacrifices we are willing to make here for this upcoming season. So,
indeed, Lord Farquaad, indeed.
You like that one? That's right. Not a big
did.
movie guy. I've only got 3 references in my pocket. Just burnt up one of them right there. So we'll see if we get
That's a great one. That's a great one. You're talking
that.
to a rather large movie guy here, so I'd be surprised if I don't know the other two.
Well, who's to say what they're going to be here? Stay tuned to find out. What are your thoughts on the Friday game, though? Are you a fan? Because can I just speak first on this? I'll answer my own question. I love the lights. I love the spotlight. I love the attention. Who doesn't love good exposure? I just wish kind of this would stop almost happening here. I wish we were in a more stable position for these standalone primetime games. Because we already got one earlier in the season against Notre Dame where, just like this one, Spencer, we will be probably 25-point underdogs. This happened a few years ago. Hey, under the lights against Ohio State for the whole world to see. Why can't we just tuck some games away on Peacock and call it a day? Like, not everyone has to see this year one rebuild. Do they?
Yeah, everyone wants to. You never know when a Kurt Signetti is right around the corner. I mean, he's in Bloomington, of course, so
I guess.
Maybe, look, here's what I know about Pat Fitzgerald. He's either contending for a Big Ten championship or contending to get relegated to the group of 6. There's no in between. There is literally nothing else. It's just those two outcomes the entire time. Northwestern, under his tutelage, had one of the most hilariously dichotomous run of football seasons we've ever seen.
Kind of like how I view sports. I'm never like a 5 out of 10. Like I'm always like a 2 out of 10, or I am just euphoric 9 out of 10.
2 or below, or 9 or above. There's none of this like 3 through 8. Pfft, gosh, who would do that? To your question about
our highs get too highs and our lows get too low.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what my golf coach always used to tell me. Anyway,
Yes.
I think the Friday night games are, like Thanos, inevitable. Do you get that one?
Nah, absolutely not. Nope.
Okay, cool.
Nope. Nope.
Loser.
Sorry.
Anyway, sorry. A Friday night game I don't think is inherently bad. I don't love it.
Okay.
I especially don't love it when you have to be the team that's traveling.
3 time zones. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's not ideal in that regard. However, as we are soon going to talk about, it really shouldn't matter.
Right. The NBA playoffs are here and every possession matters. If you're looking to get even closer to the action, FanDuel has a great offer to get you started. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. That's right, guys. Turn $5 into $150 in bonus bets just for getting started. Now, I like using FanDuel for a lot of reasons. Of course, they got their same-game parlays, their props or futures. But also, during the playoffs, everything you need is in one place. We're also talking stats, the trends, the matchups. So before you make your picks, well, stay more informed, guys. Whether you're looking at player props or just following your favorite stars, it adds another level of excitement to every single game. It's a really easy app to navigate. You get paid quickly after you hit those big wins, and it makes playoff basketball even more engaging from start to finished. So, guys, if you're listening before Game 7 rolls around here, get in with the action. Or if it's the next series, hopefully with our Pistons, guys, FanDuel.com is where to get in on all the action. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. It's FanDuel. Play your game. Also, quick shout out to the everyday listeners of Locked On Spartans. Guys, if you want to join the Everydayer Club, starts at $5 per month. It's going to get you ad-free episodes, the invite to the private listener Discord. Hey, if you want to join, the link is in the episode description.
What to know about this game? Could it actually be close? Well, on paper, where games are admittedly not played, Matt, no. It shouldn't be close. You will start. You will start. Ask me what you think Michigan State fans want to know about this matchup with Oregon.
I want to talk about a side of the ball that is spearheaded by a once crystal balled recruiting prospect to Michigan State. Basically, seemingly no intel whatsoever other than this person just caught a vibe and said, hey, he's going to Michigan State. We're talking one Dante Moore. Now, he said, no, thanks to the NFL. I'm good here in Eugene. And speaking of playing games on paper, looking at said papers, because, well, yeah, S&P Plus has this game at roughly a 25-point spread. S&P Plus also has your Oregon Ducks as the number one ranked offense going into the season. Are you that confident? Are you a believer in those analytics that, yes, you're not just good, you're not just elite, you are the best offense going into the season next year?
I have not come across an offense that I've covered over on Locked On College Football, which is to say
a lot.
The top tier ones and a lot of them.
Yeah.
I have not come across one that I would rather have than Oregon.
That's
I think
a good feeling, I bet. Yeah.
It is. There are, well, it's good, but it's also terrifying because I know they're capable of playing at that level. So when they inevitably don't and my heart is ripped out of my chest, then the downfall is going to be much worse, obviously.
Okay.
That's the cynic in me. So the optimist says there are NFL players at every single position group, every single one, including many future first-round picks.
Sure.
And that includes Dante Moore. Jamari Johnson is probably a first-rounder. DeCorian Moore, if he maximizes his college career, can be a first-round pick at wide receiver. Heck, if Evan Stewart has a big year, he could be a first-rounder. Yep. And then you have a couple other guys in Poncho, Oregon center, and Jordan Davison, starting tailback, who, because of the position they play, probably not going to be first-round picks, but will be among the first taken at their position when they decide to go to the draft. And for Poncho, that'll be after the season. His fourth year, it'll be his third starting at center, and that's a non-zero reason why I'm confident in this group. And it's funny you frame the question this way because I'm sure you, like many of us here at the Locked On Network, keep a running note sheet with segment and content ideas.
Yeah.
Especially for this time of year. One thing I have had in the chamber, as they might call it for a while, is comparing Oregon's offense to the rest of the cores of the top 10 in the country right now in ESPN's S&P Plus rankings. Will I have to do that for my everydayers next week on the show? Probably, because they might demand it. But I went and looked at all of those cores and the ones that, should be among the best in college football. And there are some that I think can be in a similar vein with where Oregon is. There are none that I am taking over. There just aren't. That includes Ohio State, by the way, because I, like most, even though I'm a huge Julian Sayin fan, I like Dante Moore over Julian Sayin. Jeremiah Smith is the best wide receiver. Sure. I'll take Oregon's running back room, and I think the wide receiver room is barely below Ohio State's, and Oregon's better at tight end. So, yeah, without going matchup by matchup there, I am definitely in that camp of this offense, and that's why we were joking about the weather in the first segment. It does legitimately matter. Oregon was not 14 points better than Wisconsin last season, even with Brock Thomas in the game, who came in for an injured Dante Moore. They're still way better than Wisconsin, but when you have those factors so severely impacting the game, there is one angle of a throw in that matchup. And then I'll let you ask your next question. I think it was Dante Moore. It might have been Brock Thomas. If you look at the behind the goalposts angle of the throw. It is from maybe the 8 to 10 yard line to the back of the end zone, and that thing is slinging more than a Mariano Rivera cutter. Okay? I mean, it is a frisbee, and it's just because of the weather that was in play. So, yes, on paper talent, Oregon, offensively, as good as any team in the country.
Okay. What are you scared of then? Like, what brings you fear? Maybe not in this specific matchup, of course. We could talk like adults. This should not be a close game. But really, like, what is the hole that you're worried about, even as we're, a few months away from kickoff of this season?
From a roster standpoint or existential dread standpoint?
That is any way you want to slice that up.
Okay. I'll give you one. I'll give you one of each. From a roster standpoint, it's O-line.
Okay.
There are 2.5 starting spots that are legitimate question marks. I think Oregon's going to be good at left tackle. I don't even know who I believe is going to start at left guard or right tackle. I know who options are, but it's not definitive. And you have 2 returners from last year's group, which was really good. So that's the biggest question that I have with this team. The linebacking core isn't elite, but they're good. So that's the biggest mystery is who's going to start at nickel, but that's too specific for what you're getting at here.
It's pretty inside, but
the biggest concern that I have is that Oregon is cursed. I'm only half joking right now.
No, because it feels like it, doesn't it? I mean,
yes,
a touch.
Because for like how long has Oregon been in the national title picture and not, despite what some might think, because of media hype?
Half my
every
life,
year.
I feel like. I mean, truly.
Across several coaches,
feels like.
effort after effort like there are so many moments that I look at and go, was that what stood between Oregon and a national championship? That I could give you 4 plays off the top of my head, not even thinking about it. And I can go, that one right there might have cost them.
Yeah.
And only one of them was actually in a national championship game. So that, I don't know how much that plays into the psyche of Dan Lanning. I don't know how much that plays into the psyche of the players. I can almost guarantee you it plays into the psyche of the fans. Like, there's just that cloud. Oregon went to, we don't use this term in college football as much, but Oregon went to the Final Four last year.
Mm-hmm.
And all anyone can remember is how it ended. Why? Because it ended the same way it did the year before. And that's probably something that should be mentioned for that question too. Yeah. Dan Lanning's defense in these big games for a former defensive coordinator is unacceptably bad. And that's one of those things that I go, are they going to finally get over that hump? I know they're going to. I don't know when.
Is this the year, though, right?
Is this the year? Oregon football is so Gonzaga basketball, it's crazy.
Ooh, that's a good one. Unfortunately, that's a good one. Look, hey, before we flip the script here, you grilling about my Spartans, I do want to zoom back in on this matchup here. Spartans, Ducks, and look, hey, AI's taking over the whole world, right? I mean, it's coming for everyone's jobs. They're about to be probably the host of Locked On Spartans, Locked On Ducks in the very near future. But hey, in the here and now, I went over.
That would suck.
It would not be good, but I used AI to straight up ask, give me 3 reasons why Michigan State football can upset Oregon football this upcoming season. And there's 3 reasons. I want you to pick the best one.
Okay.
Which one's going to play most into account here? Again, this is AI. This is going to change the entire world. Number 1, Jonathan Smith's blueprint against Oregon and the culture shifts. Citing that, Jonathan Smith has done pretty well against Oregon recently. Number 2, physicality, ball control, and defensive discipline, saying that Smith's offenses traditionally lean on a strong running game and play action. Or number 3, this is a good one too, early season jitters and quarterback play, MSU's familiarity, and Oregon's newness, citing that Michigan State's quarterback Aiden Childs, while young, hey, he knows this offense and he will have this offense running efficiently. Of those 3, what's got you shaking in your boots over there the most about this game?
Someone asked me recently if I would be okay with an AI portrayal of myself, like what Colin Cowherd has, and I said no. This would be why we're not even close.
There are benefits to AI. I'm not going to downplay that.
100%.
No,
we both use them to make our shows.
1,000%. We got a long way to go, though. And I use that 2 different platforms, and they both spit me out Aiden Childs and Jonathan Smith banter. So,
okay.
But yeah, so that didn't even help me either.
Oregon fans, just so you know, when we get back, it's going to become very clear why those 3 things are ridiculous.
Yeah, if this is your first time tuning in to a Michigan State show or an Oregon show we've got some news to break for you here at the other side of this break here. Let's do it.
So for my Oregon fans out there, thanks for tuning into the show. Hope you're having as good a time as we are right now.
Same with my Spartans, that's right.
If you heard what we mentioned on the other side of the break, get ready for a shock. If you didn't, make sure you go back and understand the context of what I'm about to say. Jonathan Smith is not the head coach at Michigan State anymore. What? He was canned after a dreadful start to his second season. Aiden Childs is the quarterback at Northwestern with Chip Kelly as his offensive coordinator. You are now up to speed. So, Matt.
Welcome.
Yes. One thing I talk about on Locked On College Football when a new coach is hired, and in his first season, he is looking for what I call a metaphorical flag planting moment.
Sure.
A moment that fans can look back on and say, you know what, it wasn't a great season, but because he did that, I think he can get this going forward. A great example from this past year, Rich Rodriguez at West Virginia. First year, taking things back over in Morgantown. He misses a bowl game, I believe, but he beat Pitt, who was a good team in the ACC in the backyard brawl. And once he won that, that is all West Virginia fans are going to remember about his first season. Hey, we may have stunk, but we beat Pitt in the rivalry game. This would be a flag planting moment for Pat Fitzgerald.
I can't even put myself in the mind space because that's how far off we've been in these kind of games. But hey, you know what? If he makes it this on senior night of all nights, you talk about momentum going into the off season, or heaven forbid, the bowl game Michigan State would be playing in if you have the caliber to be an Oregon team. Oh my! It would get this fan base probably not fully back because God, does the energy really need to be reignited here? You would get at least 80% of people back, though, to what it was. And this wagon would be jumping in the offseason. Now, that said, a lot easier said than done, but that's a good question, the flag planting moment. I'm going to add that to my list of future topics. What would be the realistic flag planting moment here? This would be undoubtedly one. Notre Dame at Michigan, no kidding, would be one. But, man, no, I like that.
Yeah, let me dampen your spirits here for a moment.
Yeah, please. They're already down, so it's okay.
In the last 2 years, Oregon has played 3 Friday night regular season games. One of them was against the Spartans in 2024.
Yeah.
The final score of that game was 31-10. And Dylan Gabriel threw 2 interceptions in the red zone in the first half.
That was a lot of fun.
And Oregon only won by 21. Did you know that on Friday regular season games, the other 2 matchups that Dan Lanning has coached as a member of the Big Ten Conference, 31-10 is the closest margin of victory that he and his team have accumulated so far?
I, of course, did not know that. No.
Yeah, I didn't think you would. That's why I laid it out. But
it's pretty good, though.
If Michigan State is going to fulfill a trap game type of prophecy here, what has happened with the team to get them in that position to play with one of the best rosters in all of college football? And by the way, as we are recording here, it's too late for me to make the change. But I left out the D in the word upside over on the graphic here on YouTube. So it says MSU upsy. So
I want to comment on that because you're a young whippersnapper. I thought this was some lingo for MSU upset. Like that's just what the kids say now. Like, oh, MSU
little
upsy
like, in East Lansing.
I'm gonna just roll with it here. You're more hip than I am. Like I'm just some washed up suburban dad now. I thought that was the correct graphic. So
you actually, yeah.
1,000.
I was going for upside. I tell you what though,
Yeah.
I kind of like upsy.
Something was just started here.
I don't hate it. Little upsy on a Friday night
opportunities. So like every pregame show now, I might sneak in an upsy here.
Please do.
Spartans
Please do. This is the greatest.
Yeah.
Maybe we're overreacting in the moment, but this is the best thing I've ever accidentally created. I mean, it's the closest I can come to replicating my King Sam Darnold's iconic line after the Super Bowl to Julian Love. A little pick in the soupy.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you had me sold. You weren't even trying to sell me anything, but I bought it. So I like the MSU upsy here. But what has to happen for MSU to be within range of Oregon here? It's going to be something that we haven't seen here in quite some time. And let me just scream this without actually screaming because I don't want to wake the kids up upstairs. But this has not been the only problem for Michigan State here the last few years. With that said, the injury bug has not been kind to us here the last few years. So, look, what they've done in the transfer portal, I think that we're going to have a fine offensive line for the starters. It's going to take at least 4 of those guys still being healthy for this game. And then getting your run game going because I actually like the stable running backs that we do have. Now, on the flip side with the trenches, our interior defensive line, I think it's a solid first 3 guys off the bench with Ben Roberts, Eli Conan, Derek Simmons.
Oregon legend Ben Roberts is still in East Lansing.
That's right. Big Worm still in East Lansing.
Is Anthony Jones still there?
Negative. He's not still there, unfortunately.
Did you know that Oregon has 2 players named Anthony Jones on their roster this year, and they both play defensive line, and they're both true freshmen?
Goodness, great. No, of course. Wow, that's a fun fact.
Yes. So I have, since I've been hosting Locked On Ducks, covered 3 players, all defenders, that committed to Oregon out of high school named Anthony Jones.
Holy smokes. Man, oh man. Anthony Jones still around because we can actually probably use him because notice I said interior defensive line. I feel pretty good about the edge. There are some people in Michigan State circles that think they're going to take a step forward here. I am reluctant to just go ahead with that. We're going to count on a kid who missed all of last season in his redshirt freshman season, Anelu Lafayette, from the great state of Hawaii, might I add. And then, hey, we got this transfer, Kenny Soares, his 5th year coming up in college football. He's never played the edge position. He's always been a linebacker. We got this guy, Keenis Thompson, who was like a spot starter at Weber State.
The SNL star?
I guess. I don't know. There's another pop culture reference that just flies over my head.
You don't know Keenan Thompson?
Oh, Keenan Thompson. Yeah, sure, I know.
Yeah, you said Keenis, and that was close.
Sorry. Okay. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm spiraling over our pass rush. I'm just not sold on them yet. So what's going to happen is that, one of those guys has have to pop off this season, but we need a lot of health. This is one of the issues with this game is like second to last game of the season. I kind of think we just throw all the idea of a trap game out the window because, boy, do we get battered and bruised here in good old East Lansing.
That's what should happen. But you know what? A lot of things should have happened. So that's my peace offering to Michigan State fans. I also, as you are dreadfully in your tone and whatnot,
crashing out, as the kids say.
Yes, that's it. As you were crashing out there about Michigan State football, the irony of the ticker behind you showcasing the number of days until Michigan State sports return, and it went through 4 different sports, and none of them were football. It was like a subconscious controlling message on your part of there are other things on campus.
Like baseball, come catch the fever. See if we'll make the Big Ten tournament or miss it for the 7th time.
Oh, the Oregon baseball is trying to get to Omaha for the first time, and they have a legitimate chance. They're the only ones to have beaten UCLA so far. Number 1 team in the country. They're the only Big Ten team.
MSU almost did it.
Close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades.
8 outs away with a 9-run lead. This is like a week or 2 ago. And of course, in MSU baseball fashion, I think they didn't even lose by 1. I think they lost by like 3 or 4 in that game still. But
that's not good. Oregon was
away,
8 out.
9-run lead.
Oregon was 8 outs away from a series win at UCLA. Would have been epic. But anyway, that's where we'll wrap this crossover. I'm not a weatherman. He's Matt Sheehan of Locked On Spartans. I'm Spencer McLaughlin of Locked On Ducks. We appreciate everyone listening. We'll see you next time. And until then, hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.